Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Charlie Pankey, Sierra Ricknell Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Wherever you're at, as always, we hope the Sierra is in your future and you are going to want to stick around today. Matter of fact, if you have been thinking about Yosemite, how do I go to Yosemite? How do I get a reservation in Yosemite? Do I need a reservation for Yosemite? And what else can I do on my way to Yosemite? Today's show is just for you. Our guest today, Kim Lawson, she's the Director of Communications and Content at Mariposa County, and you might know him better as the gateway to Yosemite in all ways. So we are welcoming Kim today. Kim, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know our readers and listeners from across California and Nevada, they love Yosemite. They love that area. But I'm going to be honest with you. I took my very first visit through kind of the middle of your county just this last March, because I've always gone through the northern route or from the eastern route to
Uh-huh.
Yosemite, right? So I'm in Mariposa, but I don't actually go through the county that much. And so I drove through on my way to the south entrance for a little vacation in March with my wife, and got to stop at Coulterville and drive through Mariposa. And it was such a cool experience for me to do. I was wondering maybe if you could real quick introduce your county, how you would describe Mariposa County to visitors or people coming for the first time.
Yes, absolutely. So Mariposa County is actually fairly massive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't already know, Yosemite Valley is in Mariposa County. So most of the well-traveled areas of Yosemite are actually within the county. So the
Yep.
area that you went through, Coulterville, Mariposa, charming small towns that are absolutely fantastic to visit for kind of a more off the beaten track experience, especially through Coulterville. Now
Yeah.
that area, um, so if you just recently came through, you saw the wildflowers, which are pretty much at their peak right now. It's absolutely insane and beautiful. The Golden Highway, it's now is the time to do that drive through there, come
Mm-hmm.
into Mariposa, enjoy kind of an old Western historic town and lots of great restaurants, mom and pop shops, new farm to fork opportunities,
Oh, is
as
there?
well as the secret. We published an article about this not too long ago, but
Yeah.
there's kind of like a secret and surprising music scene here now.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm gonna have to
Absolutely.
go check that out. I haven't seen it. Now, when you come into the county, like I came in from the north side, so I came down the whole Highway 49, the Gold Country, kind of
Yeah.
exchange. But most people will come in from like the Bay Area, from Sacramento, San Jose, Sacramento, and they're coming in. What's that route like? And they come right off 99 or 5, and they come up. Is it the 34? Am I wrong on that? What's the number on that? What's the mode
No.
into Mariposa, or what's the main route there?
Yeah.
I'm a good
Now I
question.
forget the name of the highway. I'm
Yeah,
thinking of Highway 49. That would be 99, I believe, that you're coming down,
yeah,
80 to 99 to 140.
140. That's it. That's the number I was looking for.
140. Okay,
Apologize.
that's when you're
Yeah,
looking.
because
Yeah.
140 was closed actually in April because they had a landslide for a little bit, but it's opened back up, and
Absolutely
that was kind
open
of a
back
scare for a
up.
while, and
Yeah, we were down, I think for just a couple of days. They got
yep.
it open to one lane pretty quickly, and now it's fully back open.
Yeah, a great little canyon experience there with the river and
Yeah,
all
it's
that
a
too.
really
So
it's a really beautiful drive. I highly recommend it.
yeah, very good. Well, yeah, obviously the big news here this month is that the reservation system for 2025 is back.
Yep.
And from my perspective, one of the things I want to ask you about is that it seems to me that Yosemite National Park kind of took an opportunity this year to listen to the communities. Last year there was a little bit of feedback that they were restricting some of the bedroom communities into the park, and had some of the businesses that have supported the park for years. And it seems to me this year there was a little bit of give back a little bit. There's some local pass opportunities, and the days are a little bit more flexible. It seems to be. What's kind of your guys' take or information you want to get out on reservations?
Yes, absolutely. So, what changed from previous years? It used to be 5 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a little bit more flexibility with 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So even on the days that you're required to have a reservation, if you're willing to get up early and drive in before 6 a.m., you can actually go into the park, enjoy the day, which I highly recommend. It's a perfect time to get in there, see the sunrise. For example, sunrise at Tunnel View is really the best time to visit Tunnel View. Don't
Absolutely.
go in the afternoon, in the middle of the day. The light isn't the best. Go in the morning and get that sunrise photo just as the sun comes up over El Cap and
Yep.
Half Dome. It's stunning. So yeah, a little bit more flexibility and allowing visitors to come in after 2 p.m. as opposed to 4 gives them some time to actually enjoy an afternoon in the park and have a great experience.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that you can actually stay in Yosemite National Park until 11 p.m. with a day on a
Mhm.
day pass. So you can actually stay through sunset, watch the stars at Glacier Point, and still drive out of the park in a 1 day experience from 2 to 11. That's a busy, long day if you really think about it
Yes,
in the park
and
of
it's
Yosemite. Yeah.
completely worth it. Like the things that you just mentioned,
Mhm.
the nightscapes in Yosemite are to die for,
Yeah.
and definitely something that everyone should be adding to their itinerary.
Hmm.
It seems like everyone's kind of in a hurry to get back out of the park. Don't be in a hurry.
Yeah.
Stay and enjoy it and see the side that maybe you didn't expect you were going to see. So not only can you get an amazing sunset at Glacier Point, it's something else we like to tell visitors about that's a little bit more unusual, is going to the El Cap Meadow Turnout.
Hmm.
And you're going to go out into the meadow, and there's a big log there. And sit on
Yeah.
that log and look up, and then you're going to start seeing stars pop up all over, right? But what else you're going to see is headlamps turning on
Headlamps.
all over El Capitan. So the rock climbers coming up, and it's just a really cool experience. If you're good at long exposures, get a long
Yeah.
exposure with someone doing that climb at night.
My readers know that I'm a big backpacker. I backpack in Yosemite a couple times a year, every year. And last year was the first time that I actually had hiked into the valley from up in Twilight Meadows. And we took the opportunity to stay a night. And that was one thing we thought. We were at Backcountry's campground. We got to see the headlights up on the wall, go have a beer at Curry Village with some pizza, and just enjoy the meadow walking at night. That was so different because I'm used to the high country and being quiet, but you're down with a lot of people, but the evenings
Mhm.
kind of quiet down. Really, this really mellow experience in the valley. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
great. Everyone kind of just leaves and goes to bed or something,
yeah,
but it's
exactly.
it's
They
good.
get out
Yeah,
there,
get out there and
and
enjoy
I'm
it.
guilty. I've always been a get in early and leave at 5. Kind of a long drive
Yeah.
home, but that's a great experience. Now, as far as events around the county, Yosemite is obviously the focal point for everyone, and that we can stay there for sure. But is there other
Absolutely.
things in the county? Wildflowers is a great tip. I always forget about wildflower drives in the west because I'm on the east side here. What other things can people look for in the county that are just like, don't miss this museum, or there's such a rich history that you guys would suggest?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll start with the wildflowers. There's an amazing trail called Height Cove just outside Yosemite along the River Canyon off of 140. And so right now we're kind of getting down the low, the peak end of it. But if you time it right in the springtime, you're going to get hillsides of poppies, just golden hillsides,
Hmm.
red buds, lupin. And it's absolutely stunning. Highly recommend adding that to your trip if you're going to Yosemite. Also, whitewater rafting. A lot of people don't realize that you can do that out here. So you
Yeah.
can be whitewater rafting just outside of Yosemite on the Merced River, the same river that's running through Yosemite Valley. So in
Hmm.
Yosemite Valley, you can be doing the relaxed floating, but go down a little bit further, you're going to get those rapids. You're going to get some nice class 4. It can be a fantastic adventure.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, and it's been around a little bit now, but if you can get a chance to go see the Yosemite Climbing Museum, lots of amazing history right there. Um,
I've never
fantastic
done that.
stories.
I've
Hmm?
never I've never done that. That's really cool. I don't have that on my bucket list. I need to do that.
Absolutely. And when you go, make sure to ask them the story about the wreckage on the back of the building. They have some plane wreckage, and I'm not going to tell you the story because you have to go there to get it.
I know
So
some plane wreckage stories in Yosemite. I'm not
yeah, yeah.
gonna.
Very old, very,
Very
very
old.
old. This isn't recent, but there's a good story behind that. So I challenge you to go in there and ask the representative to tell you the story behind this piece of airplane on the back of their building.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Is there any other events like summer events that go on, in any of the communities out there for festivals or anything that are worth?
Yeah, we just wrapped up the Mariposa Butterfly Festival. It's the first weekend in May every year, celebrating the namesake of the town, which means butterfly.
That's
And
awesome.
there's some other great events coming up, the Chivalry Fantasy, and there's a Goddess Fest now. So lots of fun activities to participate in. We have some good music lined up. The Grove House is the place that you want to go and check out. They bring national music to the small town. So imagine spending the day hiking and coming back relaxing to a craft beer, farm to fork
Hmm.
food, and watching, for example, the Brothers Comatose. Those are the kind of people that they're bringing in.
I like it. One of the questions we get a lot at Sierra Rec, besides the backpacking routes, is where do I stay? If you can't get lodging in Yosemite, you're late, and you're trying to figure out where to stay. I'm always talking about the small towns right outside the park that have these great old hotels or these great little, what do they call the motels where you drive up and the doors outside?
Yeah.
Little spots. You got Airbnbs. And then that. Any recommendations for guests that maybe have already missed the summer, reservation window for staying at the hotels in the park, but where they might stay?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of great hotels along the corridor of 140, several of them really close to the park where you practically can reach over and touch Yosemite
Mhm.
National Park. So that would the Yosemite View Lodge as well as the Cedar View Lodge. And a couple my one of my personal favorite is the Yosemite Bug Mountain Resort. So
Okay.
all kinds of different levels of lodging, whether you're just a backpacker in traveling internationally and you just want a bed in a shared dorm and you want to save money, you can do that there, or you can book a cabin. So there's lots of glamping opportunities. We have a new location called Wild Haven, and they have different levels of glamping. So there's kind of
Oh,
something for everyone outside the valley. And I would recommend checking them out. And you can go to our website, yosemite.com, and check out our lodging, and it outlines all the different kinds of experiences that you can have. And the
mhm.
one thing that's kind of neat about staying outside the park is you get a little bit more of a personal experience. You can oftentimes meet the owners of the place that you're staying, interesting characters, really unique places.
Exactly. Another thing that we've been talking a lot, hyping up the last 2 years with this reservation system is the misuse or misunderstanding of how the YART system works with
Mm,
Yosemite, right? So people can catch the YART outside of the park, and then with that ticket, that's actually your entry into the park as well. They can be there all day for their reservation, and not need additional reservations, if you will. Is
yeah.
in your county, is there yard pickup in specific locations? Do you want to kind of cover those for your guys' route?
Yeah, absolutely. You can get picked up right downtown Mariposa. And you can, a lot of people will even ride a bus all the way from, it's not Yarts, there's another bus that you can ride up. You
Hmm.
get to Mariposa, you can jump on the Yarts. There's several Yarts locations that will pick you up. They also pick up at the Yosemite Bug Mountain Resort as
Yep.
well. So, and there's stops in El Portal. And you just look at the 140 corridor on the map and it'll outline all the different stops that they have. And they
Yep.
have multiple times throughout the day. And it's a fantastic way to go in the park. The one thing I like about riding the Arts, and I've personally done this a lot,
Uh-huh.
you just get to hop on and relax, let them do the driving, and you get into the valley and you can hop on the free shuttle, make your way around exploring Yosemite, have a really nice relaxed day. You don't have to worry about parking.
Hmm.
And it's also the sneak, if you didn't get your peak hour reservation, if that you're coming in that time, make sure to get your bus ticket because you can still come in and enjoy Yosemite. And this is one of the sneaky ways to get around it. If you're not that early morning person and you don't want to wait till 2 p.m., you can still get on Yarts and you can still visit
Hmm.
Yosemite.
I think that that's one of the benefits from the west side, for example. Like on the east side here, we have a yard that comes in for Lee Vining area. It's really pretty much just once a day, twice a day maybe. But on the west side, there's a few more timetables, so you can get there a little later, get there a little
Yeah.
earlier, however you want to do, and still enjoy the day. And again, that whole parking metric on the busy summer days, we know the gate entry time slowed down, and then trying to find a parking spot is kind of stressful. I mean, there's parking all over the map, but you don't know which turn to take. You miss a parking spot. It's like it can take a
Yeah.
while to find the spot you want. And all you're doing is trying to look at the waterfalls above you.
Yeah, yeah, you want to go up there and you just want to enjoy yourself, and it's a great way to do that. And I know my way around Yosemite, but I still do that sometimes.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
hey, it's like this is will just be a nice, relaxed day.
Well, let's give the readers some Yosemite insider tips. I know that for me, like I don't miss a chance to stop at Bridalveil Falls. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the valley. Personally, myself, I just love to be there. When I go in, Nevada Falls and Vernal Falls are obviously a big part. What are some
Yes.
of your tips when people stop and go, okay, let's do it 2 days. I have one day. I want to see as much as I possibly can. What can't I miss? What do I not miss? And then maybe let's do a 2 day one so people have a little more freedom to see some unexpected items.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if, for example, I'd never been to Yosemite National Park before, and I'm going to do kind of like a valley tour and get the most I can possibly
Mhm.
see, I'll probably do the first stop at Bridal Veil. I'm going to pop out there, do that quick little walk, check out Bridal Veil. Then I'm just going to get back in my car and do a really short, about a mile, not even probably. And you get that view of El Capitan. So you want to stop and enjoy that, take that in, maybe explore around that a little bit. So yeah, I would do mostly a day in the valley. Then maybe head to Curry Village, or you can go to Yosemite Valley Lodge, grab a bike. You can rent a bike and you can do like the Valley Loop, ride that out to Mirror Lake. You can ride the bike anywhere that's paved. So this is a great way to get around fairly quickly and enjoy all of the scenes. It's pretty relaxed. And yeah, pop out to Mirror Lake, where you're going to get these amazing reflections, another great angle of Half Dome. And then come back maybe after you're done with your bike tour. You can return your bike, and I would suggest doing a walk to Lower Yosemite Falls, because you can't miss that. And if you're there earlier in the season, so right now, for example, the pressure coming down, and you can walk out on the bridge and the wind's going to blow your hair back from the waterfall. It could be calm 5 feet over here, and you walk over there and it's and be prepared to get a little misty.
I
So
like
that's a good kind of a one dayer. I would recommend stopping maybe at the Curry Village, enjoying some pizza on the pizza deck. There's great views there, so you can relax a little bit, enjoy views, and eat. And then if you want to add on a day, this is where I'm going to tell you, you're going to pop up, you're going to get the tunnel view in, you're going to get out to Glacier Point. But my personal favorite is going out to Taft Point or Sentinel Dome. So really short walk from the parking lot. These two locations would probably be my favorite spots for sunset. So if you can, that's what I would aim for, is try to be out there at sunset. They're both an easy hike to Taft Point, especially about a mile one way. So very accessible, and you can walk out with kids and family to that location and it'd be no problem.
Awesome. I'll add a personal tip I found for day users, and hopefully I'm not breaking any rules here. But here's a tip for you. After you get to the Bridal Falls, I like to park at the swinging bridge. Right, walk across the bridge, hit the connecting path, and if you want to hike around for the day, take your day pack with you. Walk to Yosemite Falls from there through the meadow paths and everything, and connect with you. And then there's a back path. There's a dirt path from Yosemite Falls to Mirror Lake. No one's ever on it. There's actually hidden waterfalls back there. You walk right behind the Iwani Hotel. And while everybody's on the paved part where they're walking through, you sneak in the back door of Mirror Lake. This pure great experience. An old timer told me that route one time. I go, that was a perfect day hike. My car was parked. Maybe I shouldn't be there all day. I don't know, but it worked for me for the hike. And then I just walked myself back there through Curry Village, grabbed something to drink, and back to the car. But ends up being a little bit of a hike. I don't know what distance that is. I've never really measured it out, but you're kind of a good day hike for the day.
That's fantastic. I love that idea. Yeah, I know exactly the trail you're talking about. It's a fun little sneaky way to get around. Kind of goes around the backside of everything. But
yeah, very, 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 very beautiful area back there. So now, people who come to the park who want to do some serious hiking, the valley floor has some of the most world renowned trails. Whether you want to go on top of Yosemite Falls, you want to do 4 Mile Trail. What is somebody comes in, they're from Los Angeles, they haven't been to Yosemite, but they want to hike. What is like?
They want like an epic full day adventure.
Yeah, they want the epic experience. What is your go-to hike? Panorama Trail. Okay, very good.
Yeah, that's the one that I would recommend in terms of, but you got to be ready for it. It's about 14 miles, I think, for the whole loop if you do the entire thing. So, you can start it either way. Sometimes I recommend going up 4 Mile, Glacier Point, down around the backside, coming back down towards Nevada in Vernal, or you could start it the other way.
Okay, so that's a long. Yeah, when you go to Nevada, that's the long route, right? So,
yeah,
because you get Illilouette and that experience as well. So that's great. Yeah, I love sending people up Vernal and Nevada Fall, the whole Mist Trail experience, and then once you get to Nevada Fall, come back to John Muir Trail. Yep. But I sneak down. I forget what the trail is that sneaks back down to Vernal. That gets that. There's a visual point there. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but you can see both falls, and you're on top of Vernal Falls. This picture point. It's just a great day hike too. And I can't remember what that is. It's like Clark Trail, or I can't remember the name of that. So
I'll have to look that up. It's some of those trails that you just know, but you're just like, what?
What's that called?
yeah. But you can pop up there and get that really fancy.
It's kind of funny. I have a family. My mom a couple years ago gave me an old family photo album, and this is like super old Yosemite pictures of our family in Yosemite. And I actually have a picture from that spot exactly where my family took the picture
Fantastic.
100 years ago, right? And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is really kind of cool family history that, I have relatives that stood here and took that picture back then. So yeah,
That's
but
great. Yeah. Yeah, I love that loop. I think it's fantastic. But what's great about it too is you can kind of keep going or you can stop and just circle back
mhm,
and make it an easier day. Like it's a big one, but you get so many different vantage points
there is.
and it's great.
There's a,
Another favorite is popping up going to the upper Yosemite Falls, hiking all the way to
mhm,
the top of that. That's another big day, but
yep.
lots of amazing views along the way, but you're
That's
hiking
one
up it.
I've never done. So many people do it. All the different experiences in Yosemite, I've never done that trail up. I've been
Well,
on top of
add it
Snow
to the list.
Creek, and that one I got to do and add to my list there. So very cool.
Absolutely.
How about driving into the park? Like for family with kids, and it's a long day, right? You're going to have
Mm.
a long experience. And I always tell people with young kids, you really want to try to do Yosemite a couple days so you can really stop and watch the butterflies and play in the meadows and have all the fun kid experiences instead of being a rushed experience. What
Absolutely.
are some things that you're driving, into Mariposa from the Bay Area, and you've got a family that maybe they want to stop and experience and just take a longer experience into Yosemite and out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, something that they might do is head over to 41 the 41 quarter and go
Mhm.
in through Fish Camp and check out the railroad
The
there.
railroad there,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a historic railroad and kids love it, and adults
Yeah,
too. It's a great thing you can do. You can do the day and you can have lunch out there,
yeah.
or you can just do a quick little ride and then you pop into Mariposa Grove, which is be a nice relaxed walk with your
Mhm.
kids to the grizzly giant to see one of the world's largest trees.
Yep.
Kids love that. So I think that would be a great way to start your day and then kind of relax drive into Yosemite Valley and
Yeah.
do that whole thing and then maybe stay in Mariposa so you'll come out and have a nice family dinner at something like the Grove House, which is a really
Mhm.
great indoor outdoor location that kids just love it. They're always running around playing and eating dinner. And yeah, it's a great spot.
That's a little fun. I'm gonna have to check that out next time I'm in town. We didn't stop for a meal when I came through town. We just kind of stopped, took a picture, and we're on our way to our trip because we were going to stay in Wawona, coming
Yeah.
around. So we were doing a whole different experience there.
And
Um,
there's some great shops downtown, especially that if you have kids you're traveling with, like the cinnamon buns place, you could go in and get cinnamon rolls and
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And there's candy and there's beads and there's all sorts of eye candy for kids downtown Mariposa.
What is the train history in the area? I remember being in Coulterville and seeing, is it called the Billy? There's like a little train
Yeah,
memorial
that's
right at the entrance of town there. So
yeah, just there at the museum there. So that's like a
okay.
little piece of history, and you can take a look at it, but you're not going to ride it because it doesn't move.
No, no, no. It looked very stationary. Is there a big train history in your area for old tracks and?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 140 corridor actually was originally the train track that went into
Oh,
Yosemite.
I didn't know that. That's
So
great.
as you're driving down that road along the River Canyon on the
Hmm.
opposite side was where the railroad track was. And then actually you get to drive on a section of that railroad track where that big slide happened years ago. And now you have to cross the road to go over a bridge. You're
Okay,
actually driving on the historic railroad track right there
that's
for
neat.
about a half a mile.
I did
So
not know that. See, you learn something new every time I talk to you.
yeah.
All the things I know about Yosemite, I did not know that. That's a cool feature. All right. Well, yeah, we are coming up the end of our show. I want to make sure we again let's talk about reservations real quick. What do
Sure.
people need? But by the time they hear this show, reservations have started on May 6th.
Yep.
Today is the day we're actually recording the show, right? And
Mhm.
what will they need to know for the rest of the summer? Because if people are going to hear this and go, "Oh yeah, I want to get that done. I want to be there in July, or I want to go there in September." What do they need to know from your standpoint?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say when you're planning your trip, try to get your reservations as early as possible. They are releasing some 7 days in advance, so if you don't get it, don't completely panic.
Mhm.
There's still a chance you can get it, and you can go to our website. We have a lot of information on there. Just go to yosemite.com and search for reservations, and that's going to pull up the temporary vehicle reservation system. Uh, Go in there. Tons of information. It's a great resource for you. And it also lists all the different ways that you can visit the park during those peak seasons, even if you weren't able to get the reservations. So I like to tell people it's not the end of the world. If you don't get it, you can still visit the park and we'll help you plan your trip accordingly. So
Yeah, you got the yard experience. If you happen to book a room in Yosemite for the night, that's covered for your reservation, whether it
you
be
have a wilderness permit.
wilderness backpacker. That's how I get in all the time is
Yeah.
go backpacking. I'm included in that mix as well. So, and those are just all great tips. If you do have some more time, obviously Yosemite is a beautiful national park. And how far does Mariposa go into the park? Like, what is your boundary line, like into the park?
It's massive.
It's
So
massive, right?
it encompasses like Mariposa Grove all the way on the southern side, all of
Okay,
that back area, and up about to Tuolumne Meadow, because then you're getting into
okay,
Tuolumne County up there. So
okay.
it starts to go up that way. A good section of that is in Tuolumne, but all of Yosemite Valley and Mariposa Grove, Glacier Point, all of that is in Mariposa County.
Tenaya Lake. You
Tenaya Lake would be up in Tuolumne.
Tuolumne. Okay, so there is a borderline right there. That's what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
there's a
figure out.
borderline.
So,
You're kind of digging up in that when you're going up 120, where you're starting to cross over. I
gotcha,
guess,
gotcha.
right? Because there
But
are some sections up there that are kind of like, but we work with Tuolumne County a lot, and also Madera County, our neighbors. And we're team. We work together.
always, you're all part of the same team. Yeah, and
Yeah,
trust me, folks. I've been backpacking. There's no sign in the middle of the wilderness that says, "Hey, you're now entering Mariposa County."
exactly.
they kind of spare us that, but you just have to know. Hey, Kim, it has been wonderful to have you on the show. I have a couple things here before we close up. One, I have a sponsor video. I'm going to run real quick just for our sponsor, Visit Carson Valley, where I live at. They're glad to have everybody on the show here. We want to do a quick shout out to them for our base camp. And then I have 3 personal questions for you for outdoor recreation. You can go Yosemite wherever you want to go in the Sierra here. So give me just a second. Let me run this quick video here for our sponsors, and then we'll come back and get your answers to our three questions here. It's always just a little bit awkward to promote my county while I'm talking to their county, but the Carson Valley loves that I do this from here and talk about how we come from our wide open spaces that I go out and enjoy the Sierra. So it's kind of a fun thing to do.
Hey,
So,
we can build a road trip with them.
hey, absolutely, it's a great road trip. My wife and I just did it, so it was a fun time to go down the 49 and do all that. So, all right, Kim, I have 3 questions I ask all my guests. Okay, the first question is: your bag is packed behind you, and you get to take a weekend off from helping guests at Mariposa, but you can go anywhere in the Sierra you want to go. Where are you going and why?
I would like to do a redo of Young Lakes.
That is one of my favorite places ever.
Yeah.
Love Young Lakes.
Yeah. I went ages ago and I only got to spend one night. And let me tell you, that is not enough to experience the beauty up there.
Nope.
But really, gosh, it's so hard. My list for the places that I want to backpack to or spend time in Yosemite is like this long.
It just keeps growing, right? It just keeps growing.
Yeah. I also need to redo, I think, Mount Lyell, because I didn't make it to the top. I got right at the bottom. I was up partway and it started dumping snow and we had to turn around. It wasn't safe. So unfortunately, those 2, I'm going to go back.
That's really cool. I'm actually doing a loop with McCabe Lake this summer on 4th of July week. And then I'm hoping to go over to Roosevelt and Young Lake for a night on the way back. Because upper Young's Lake, I've told my kids that if Yosemite let you bury your ashes, this is where I want you to bury my ashes. It's like one of my favorite beautiful places in the world. I just love falling asleep in that meadow up there. Oh, that's a great answer. Okay, so after a long day in the Yosemite or out doing whatever you do backpacking, I'm a foodie. I love my cheeseburgers and milkshakes. Where are you going for food? What's on the menu?
I go to the Junebug Cafe, which is at the Yosemite Bug Mountain Resort. It's a rotating menu, so you don't necessarily know what you're going to go get, but we always get a beer and we get something delicious.
Awesome.
And then we tend to go down to the sauna. They have a sauna and a tub there. So after you've been backpacking or rock climbing and you're exhausted, you can go spend I think it's 10 or 15 bucks, and you can sit in the sauna and the hot tub, and life is good.
That is going on my bucket list.
That is the location when you get off the trail.
I like that idea. I didn't even know that. That's fantastic. All right, final question. We're all gearheads in some way. It sounds like you like to get in the outdoors, maybe do some climbing stuff. What is the piece of gear you never leave home without?
I think I would have to say like a raincoat, especially if you're hiking in the
There you
high
go.
country.
Yeah.
I would say that I never leave without it, but I've left without it too many times that I've decided I'm never going to leave without it
Okay,
again.
got
So that's
it.
my goal. That's my one thing that I can't forget in the
You get one of
future.
those small ones that tucks in the pocket, so it's a little pouch,
Yes,
and you can.
exactly. Because you never know when a little like rainstorm's going to roll in when you're up at those high elevations.
My kids for years that used to laugh at me because I had those little survival ponchos, that really thin orange plastic, always in my backpack. And then we got stuck in up at Vogel saying, thunderstorm. I
Oh,
pulled it
yeah.
out for us all, and they go, "That's why you carry those things all the time."
We get it. Yeah. Yeah.
That is perfect, perfect time. Well, Kim, it is awesome. I wish I could spend more time on Mariposa. I welcome you back anytime you guys have some news you want to share. Yosemite, Valley and Yosemite National Park, and getting into the park is such a big part of the Sierra story. Thanks for letting us tell your part of the story today. If you're out there today and you're thinking, "Hey, how do I get to Yosemite? I heard about this reservation system. I'm confused." Don't hesitate to call Mariposa or hop on the website. They have a ton of great information. They have itineraries on there for you if you're kind of trying to figure out a plan. And don't forget about that YART system as well. I think it's really probably the most underutilized resource in this reservation system that we need to talk about more. But we thank Mariposa. Wherever you're at today, we hope the Sierra is in your future and that your next adventure is your best. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.